Each year, major smartphone manufacturers line up to show us what they've been working on since their last big flagships, teasing us with better-than-ever performance, interesting and useful new features, and hopefully some designs that leave us actually feeling excited to carry their handsets around. After the first few months of 2017 brought us some very strong efforts from companies like Samsung and LG, it's now HTC's turn to try and prove itself. This week in Taiwan, it did just that as it pulled the curtain back on the new HTC U11. After bringing you an early hands-on with this new Android hardware, we traveled halfway around the world to see this launch in person and try and get a greater understanding of just what makes the U11 tick, what it really has to offer that its competition might not, and whether or not this handset is destined to end up on our short list of phones to recommend. When it comes to raw silicon, HTC very much has its bases covered, and the Snapdragon 835 powering this phone puts it in the same class as the Galaxy S8, while also giving it a leg up on the LG G6. Similarly, the speedy 64GB of UFS 2.1 storage, or even 128 gigs in select markets, hits both capacity and performance notes that we very much like to see. And whether you're looking at the edition with 4 gigs or 6 gigs of RAM, there's ample memory to handle even the most demanding multitaskers. But it's easy to just overload a phone with all the latest high-end components. A much trickier proposition is forming those parts into a handset that's eye-catching, attractive, and really resonates with users on an emotional level. For that, HTC is embracing what it calls a liquid surface design that's a pronounced departure from the straightforward metal unibody looks of yesteryear. While this new design is proud to embrace organic flowing lines and graceful curves, the star of the show is easily the phone's colored glass back panel. We previously got a quick look at some of those color options, but after spending more time with them and seeing how they shine under some bright lights, we're all the more impressed. Rather than presenting users with a single color, HTC's advanced treatment process gives each shade the ability to shift into intricate new waves of color under changing lighting conditions. The ice white shows hints of red at the right angles, and while the sapphire blue is stunning enough on its own, it slowly morphs into deep purple as the U11 twists in your hands. Black can be a pretty drab color for phones, but this so-called brilliant black brings out hints of green under illumination, and the aptly named amazing silver throws out blue hues at every turn. This launch event was our first run-in with the solar red U11, and man is it a stunner. Almost like ketchup and mustard, the red shifts to bold yellow as the phone rotates. While all the color options are pretty attractive, we're just a bit upset that our favorites, white and red, won't be making it to the US for the U11's release. Compared to similar color options on the Galaxy S8 and LG G6, it's easy to see why HTC is so proud of the U11's looks, and the phone grabs attention in ways those other handsets just can't. But for as good as the coloring of the U11 is, we also can't deny that it's a larger handset than those others, and while it only has a 5.5-inch display, its more traditionally widescreen shape, rather than the super widescreen displays of the LG and the Samsung, does make the U11 look a little chunky in comparison. On the other hand, that substantial build might make it feel more natural to get a grip on the phone, which is key to enjoying one of the U11's key new features, EdgeSense. As we already showed you, pressure sensors track how firmly you're squeezing the sides of the phone and can use that input to quick launch apps and toggle phone settings. It's eminently customizable, and while it does feel a little gimmicky, we also appreciate its usefulness in various situations. On paper, the U11's camera didn't sound that impressive and felt like a rehash of what we got on the HTC 10, but after spending a little time shooting with the phone's 12-megapixel ultra-pixel sensor, now with dual-pixel focus and an extra-wide aperture, we're starting to appreciate all the subtle ways HTC has found to extract all the image-taking performance it can out of this package. And with getting to that camera as simple as giving the phone a gentle squeeze, it's easy to tap into that hardware as often as you like. Audio has also been a big focus of the U11's development, with things like a 360-degree array of microphones to zero in on your subject and capture the highest fidelity sound possible, or new boom sound speakers that sound so much more substantial and satisfying than the speakers on the HTC 10. But the audio feature we'd most been looking forward to checking out has been the new U-Sonic earbuds as they deliver active noise cancellation. We finally got to give that capability a spin, and while it does reduce background noise, we do have a few reservations. For one, the noise cancellation is tied to the use of U-Sonic audio profiles, customizing earbud output for your individual ear shape. And while that does sound good, it also tends to be quite a bit louder than non-enhanced audio, so it's tricky to tell the difference between noise cancellation and simply cranking up the volume such that background noise sounds quieter in comparison. Maybe the more annoying limitation is that you can't simply pop the earbuds in and switch on noise cancellation to get some peace and quiet. The cancellation is only engaged when you're actively listening to audio, and you can't manually toggle it on to cancel out background noise as you try and get some work done. far more than before, we're seeing all the potential HTC has given the U11. Of course, other HTC handsets have had potential in spades, but translating that into sales can prove a lot more difficult than it sounds. HTC's also facing some of its most serious competition in years from 2017's crop of flagships, and the U11 can't just succeed on being good, it has to be better than everyone else. Is this the handset that will turn around the company's fortunes? Well, stay tuned for our full HTC U11 review. For now, I'm Steven Schenk with PhoneArena. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to see how the rest of the U11 story unfolds.